Denmark, a nation renowned for its engineering ingenuity, is spearheading a groundbreaking approach to tunnel construction that promises to redefine infrastructure across Europe. The Fehmarnbelt Tunnel, a colossal project linking Denmark and Germany, will carve nearly 160 kilometers off the journey between Copenhagen and Hamburg. What sets this tunnel apart isn't just its scale, but its novel construction method, prefabricated segments assembled beneath the sea, a technique that blends precision manufacturing with maritime engineering. Traditionally, tunnels have fallen into two categories. The first, familiar from projects like the Channel Tunnel connecting England and France, relies on massive boring machines that grind through rock and soil deep underground, creating a subterranean passage. The second, known as cut and cover, is suited to shallower depths. This method involves excavating a trench, building the tunnel, often with concrete in modern times, and then burying it beneath reinstated earth. London's early underground lines, such as parts of the Circle and Metropolitan, exemplify this approach. The Fehmarnbelt Tunnel, however, charts a different course. It employs an immersed tube technique, where a trench is dredged into the seabed, and pre-built sections are lowered and joined to form a record-setting structure. This tunnel claims two global titles: the longest immersed tunnel ever built, spanning 18 kilometers, and the longest combined road and rail tunnel, integrating a 4-lane motorway with a dual-track electrified railway. It will connect Denmark's Lolland Island to Germany's Fehmarn Island across the Fehmarnbelt, a narrow 18-kilometer strait in the Baltic Sea. On a clear day, the opposing shores are visible, making this the shortest sea crossing between the two nations. The seabed's gentle undulations and relatively stable soil, neither too deep nor too rocky, make it an ideal candidate for this method, minimizing concrete use compared to boring multiple tunnels for separate road and rail lines. The project unfolds in 3 interconnected phases. First, dredging carves a 40-meter deep trench across the seabed, relocating millions of cubic meters of soil. Much of this material is repurposed to expand Lolland's coastline, creating new land for wetlands and recreational areas. The second phase centers on a sprawling factory complex in Redefine, Denmark, designed to produce the tunnel's components. The third phase involves casting these elements, equipping them, towing them to sea, and sinking them into the trench, where they're sealed and covered to restore the seabed's surface. Little evidence of this underwater work is visible above the waves, but on land, the transformation is striking. The dredged soil has birthed 300 hectares of wetlands and 42 hectares of artificial reefs, boosting biodiversity and offering new spaces for locals and visitors. Meanwhile, the Rudbyhaven factory, covering 500,000 square meters, stands as a testament to industrial scale. Here, 89 concrete elements are being crafted, 79 standard units, each 217 meters long, 42 meters wide, and 10 meters high, and 10 specialized units with basements for electrical and mechanical systems. Each standard element comprises 9 segments, requiring 711 individual castings. Weighing 73,000 tons apiece, these behemoths defy conventional lifting equipment. Instead, they're slid on skidding beams to a basin, floated via a flooded sluice, and towed by tugboats to their precise positions. The immersion process is a marvel of engineering. Ballast tanks within each element are filled with water to sink them into the trench, guided to within 15 millimeters of their targets. Rubber gaskets, known as Gina gaskets, line the ends, forming an initial seal. A vacuum is then created between adjoining segments, compressing the gaskets under external water pressure to ensure watertight integrity. Inside, a secondary concrete seal reinforces the joint, providing dual protection designed to last at least 120 years. This conservative approach prioritizes durability, with rigorous checks at every step to avoid rushed compromises. Denmark has experience with this technique, notably the Øresund link between Copenhagen and Malmö, Sweden. That 4-kilometer immersed tunnel, completed in 2000, also combines road and rail, but Fehmarnbelt's scale introduces new complexities. The 10 special elements, for instance, feature basements beneath the traffic lanes, housing systems like ventilation, power, and drainage pumps. These allow maintenance without disrupting disrupting the tunnel's flow, an essential innovation for an 18-kilometer stretch where walking to the midpoint for repairs isn't feasible. Laybys within these sections enable service vehicles to park off the main routes, enhancing operational efficiency. Ventilation systems space strategically, counteract exhaust buildup, while sensors monitor air quality in real time. As of March 2025, construction is advancing steadily. 7 of the 79 standard elements are complete, with 3 special elements in progress. The trench, now 70% dredged, is on track for the first element installation by mid-2025. The factory operates around the clock. Its 6 production lines casting segments in a controlled environment where temperature and humidity are meticulously managed. Each segment takes 36 hours to pour and cure, a process refined through test casts to perfect the concrete mix and crew coordination. By 2029, the tunnel will rank among the world's 5 longest road tunnels, equipped with dynamic lighting inspired by migrating birds, patterns that shift to keep drivers alert during the 10-minute crossing. The Fehmarnbelt Tunnel's impact extends far beyond its engineering feats. It will shrink the Hamburg-Copenhagen rail journey from 4.5 hours to 2.5, while cars bypass the 45-minute ferry for a swift 10-minute drive. This efficiency opens a seamless corridor from the Arctic Circle to Gibraltar, spanning 5,500 kilometers. Economically, it's a boon for Lolland and Fehmarn, regions hungry for growth. Denmark funds the $7.5 billion project, a 55.1 billion Danish kroner, through loans and 1.1 billion euros in EU subsidies, expecting tolls around 100 euros per car, mirroring ferry rates, to yield $4 billion in profit over 50 years. Freight will shift from trucks to electric trains, cutting emissions and easing road congestion. Geopolitically, it strengthens ties between Scandinavia and Central Europe. Sweden, Germany's second-largest export market, pushed for this link to streamline trade and reduce reliance on air travel, aligning with the Flagskam movement, urging sustainable alternatives. The EU champions it as a pillar of the Trans-European Transport Network, enhancing the ScanMed corridor's connectivity. For Lolland, a rural area with high unemployment, the influx of 3,500 workers from 40 countries has sparked a mini economic revival, though some fear construction disruptions could deter tourists in the short term. In the long run, improved access could draw more visitors to both islands, revitalizing local businesses. Yet, the project isn't without controversy. On Fehmarn, residents lament the industrialization of their tranquil island, a haven for birdwatchers and beachgoers. The Baltic's clear waters support a delicate ecosystem, plankton, macrophytes, fish, that dredging could cloud, despite Fehmarn AS's claims of minimal impact via specialized equipment and real-time monitoring. Mitigation efforts include the new wetlands and reefs, monitored by ecologists to track species recovery, but environmental groups like NABU argue the damage to this EU-protected zone outweighs the gains. The carbon footprint of 2 million tons of CO2 from concrete alone clashes with the tunnel's green credentials, though renewable energy powers construction and operations aim for CO2 neutrality. The tunnel's roots trace to decades of stalled plans. Since the 19th century, visionaries have eyed a Hamburg-Copenhagen rail link, but only in the 1960s did a ferry-to-train system emerge, slow and outdated by today's standards. The Øresund's success spurred momentum, culminating in the 2008 Denmark-Germany Treaty. Germany's upgrades, including the Fehmarn Sound Tunnel, complement the effort, though legal challenges from environmentalists delayed approval until 2021. When it opens in 2029, the Fehmarnbelt Tunnel will stand as a monument to innovation, its submerged assembly echoing Denmark's knack for bold solutions. Critics call it a gamble. Its full benefits are speculative until time proves its worth. History offers precedent. The Øresund faced similar doubts, yet now underpins regional prosperity. This tunnel, too, may fade into the everyday, its extraordinary origins taken for granted as it binds Europe's north and south ever closer.